Hey, good morning. Hope you're doing well today. My name is Ed Hicks, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Running with God. Now, I'm not a runner. I'm a walker. I do a lot of walking, but I'm not a runner. So who am I, and why am I doing this channel, Running with God, and what does it mean to run with God? And we're going to talk about that this morning just a little bit. My name is Ed Hicks. Like I said, I'm a certified life coach. I help people move from point A to point B, C, D, E, F, G, whatever it is they want to move forward to. And so my model is moving you forward to win. Okay. And so as a certified life coach, I help people with their personal development in areas of spirituality, emotional well-being, their physical health, and finances, and some other areas. Now, what does it mean to run with God? Well, when I was a kid, the phrase was often used, running with somebody. Who you running with? If somebody asks you that question. And what that meant back in the day was who you hanging with, who you hanging out with, who's your people. All right, so the question becomes today is, are you running with God? And if you're running with God, are you running from Him, to Him, with Him? How are you running with God? Okay, and so today, just briefly, I kind of want to give you an overview of how on this channel, what we're going to talk about in terms of how to run with God, and the 5 areas that I look at that I'm writing a book currently on about running with God. Okay, and that book will be out later this year, God willing. It's called Taking Care of S.E.L.F, Spiritual, Emotional, Lifestyle, which incorporates physical and physical and relational, and then lastly but not least, financial. And that spells out the acronym S.E.L.F, S-E-L-F. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, taking care of self today. And so that is what my channel is about, is when you're running with God, we're not running just to Him, we're running with Him. We're keeping in step with Him on our journey, okay? And sometimes that's a bit uncomfortable. So one of the things as a life coach, I really want people to look at is these 5 areas, and I'll go over these again. How's your spiritual walk? How's your emotional health? How's your physical health? How's your relationships? How's your financial health? Now, I want to say right off the bat, I'm not an expert in all 5 areas, but I do believe I've got a backstory that I'll share probably on my next video. But I do believe that God has called me to encourage and sharpen people, iron sharpens iron, right? What it says in Proverbs, to move forward in each of these areas and to be good stewards and be good managers of those 5 areas that God has given us. Because every one of us has something to manage in those 5 areas, whether it's our spiritual walk, our emotional health, our physical health, our relationships, and our financial health. So, like I said, I believe God has called me to create this channel to encourage and sharpen fellow followers of Jesus Christ. Because first and foremost, that's who I am. I may be a certified life coach, but beyond that, you can take away the life coach, and I'm still a follower of Jesus Christ. But people like to know, hey, what are your credentials? Tell me a little bit about how are you experienced in these 5 areas. Well, as a spiritual walk, I've known Jesus since I was a little kid, but I had a really, and I'll share this in a couple of videos from now. I'm not going to go into the details here, just kind of give you a little bit of taste of it though. But I had probably about 10 or 11 years ago, around 2013, 2014, I had a pretty amazing dream where God used that dream to change my life. Even though I'd known Jesus since I was a little kid, but it changed my spiritual health. It changed my spiritual walk with the Lord. Okay, so today I love to say that I follow after Him. I'm not perfect, but I do follow after Him. I serve in my church. I love people, forgive people, do whatever I need to do to follow hard after Jesus. And that's what this is about. How hard are you following? How are you managing your spiritual walk? All right, the second area, emotional health. I'm still working on that, just like anybody else, right? It's a daily journey. It's a daily battle sometimes, because as you'll see as the channel goes on, this is our battleground right here. Not my hat, not my temples, but the mind. Our mind is the battleground, and this is where the enemy likes to take us down. If you can win the battle right here, you can pretty much win the battle out here. Okay, no matter what's going on out here, because it does start on here. And I'll share some of my journey in that. I've been in counseling before a couple years ago. Also a qualified mental health professional myself in the state that I work in and live in. That is my full-time job. I'm not a counselor. I'm a case manager, but I am a QMHP. And I've led, to me, the best way to get good mental health is through Scripture. It's not the only way. It's the main way, but it's not the only way. And so we'll talk more about that. So I do believe, I seek daily after God's wisdom through His Word. My favorite book in the Old Testament is Proverbs. There's other stories that I really like, but Proverbs is probably my favorite book because it gives you such wisdom if you not just read it, but adhere to it, okay? So my physical well-being, that is something I have struggled with. And I'll go more into my backstory in a video too, but I'm a work in progress. And that's what this channel is about, by the way. I'll go to the other two areas in just a minute. It's not about perfection. It's not about me having all the credentials. It's about, am I moving forward on my journey? And so I may be further along in certain areas in my spiritual walk and then not so much in my physical health, okay? Which is actually probably the case, though I have lost 50 pounds over time and done some other good things with my health, but still working on it. So this is not about perfection. This is about a journey, and hopefully you get to go on this journey. You'll come along with me on this journey because we're going to talk about these 5 years. So we've already said spiritual walk. I love the Lord. I follow hard after Him. Emotional health. I believe in renewing my mind with Scripture, getting counseling, doing other things to take care of my mind and my brain and my mental health. And we'll talk more about that as the channel goes along, okay? My physical health, that is something definitely I'm still working on. I'm a lot further along than I was. And the next one is relationships. Relationships are hard, aren't they? Yeah, they are. And so we're going to talk about relationships. There are 3 different relationships that you should have, okay? And we're going to talk about these over the course of the channel. I've got tons of ideas for videos already, so I will never not have videos posted each week, hopefully, okay? But in terms of relationships, how's your relationship with God? How's your relationship with other people? But right in the middle there, really, it should have been second, is how's your relationship with yourself? Because the book that I'm writing, Taking Care of S.E.L.F, spiritual, emotional, lifestyle, and financial. That lifestyle incorporates your physical health and your relationships, okay? And then last but not least, we're going to talk about your financial health. Man, I can remember a time, and I'll tell this a little bit more my backstory. I can remember a time when I had 2 nickels to rub together. Now, am I as far along as I want to be? Absolutely not. But I do know that I am not where I used to be. And that is the whole purpose of the title of my channel, Running with God. As you not just walk with Him, but as you begin to run with Him, okay? As you begin to go with the Lord and you run in these 5 areas, you're going to be amazed where it takes you. And so this channel really is a journey. It's a lifelong journey pursuit. And, we're going to explore all 5 areas at different times on this channel. Now, like I said, when I was growing up, running with God, running with somebody meant you were hanging with Him, right? And so, are you hanging with God the way you should be? Now, because here's the truth: when you start running with God, you often have to start laying other things down. It is like a runner or a backpacker or a hiker. I do a lot of hiking, not as much as I used to, but I'm getting back into it. As you run or as you hike, you don't carry heavy stuff. Now, you might have a backpack if you're a hiker, but you don't make that backpack, you don't allow that backpack to be extremely heavy, unless you're in some kind of other training, right? And when you're running, you shed everything. People shave their legs. People get rid of anything and everything when they run, okay? And when you're running with God, sometimes that's what is required. God will ask you to lay some things down. God will ask you to put away those things that hinder your race with Him. And that's what Paul says in the New Testament. Okay. So we're going to look at spiritual health, emotional health, physical health, relationships, and finances. And again, I don't have all the answers, and that's okay by me. I don't want all the answers. But one of my side hustle is, as I create it with YouTube channels, and also have some clients that I work with. One of my goals is to be a full-time life coach. And so if you need life coaching or a mentor, and we're going to do a video here in a couple of weeks. I'm going to do a video here in a couple of weeks on mentoring, why you do need a life coach or a mentor in your life. Biggest mistake I ever made in my life was not to gain a mentor in a certain area of your life. You know, you may have a mentor that is specialized in each of those 5 areas, or you may have a mentor that's just like me, that's a generalization, good in, it's really specific in certain areas, and maybe you need some more training in other areas. But I just want to come on here today, and I wanted to say thank you for stopping by. Welcome to my channel, Running with God. I sure hope you come back. Click the like and subscribe button. This is all brand new to me, too. It's not something... I have more of a face for radio, is what I keep telling people. I did a podcast a couple of years ago called God is Smiling at You, and that's part of my dream, by the way, which is super cool. For me, it was. But I want to leave you with this thought for just a minute. God's not angry with you. God is crazy in love with you. And that was part of my podcast a couple of years ago, is God is smiling at you. You know, I was more comfortable doing a podcast than I am doing a YouTube channel. Obviously, I've got to get some teeth fixed and some things on my face fixed. That's part of my physical health journey. So, by the way, you'll see me on this channel be extremely vulnerable. You know, I'm not going to tell you everything. I mean, that'd be a fool to tell everything, right, in our lives. But I want you to understand that when you come to this channel, I'm not hiding from you. I'm not going to be vulnerable. I want you to feel comfortable, because when I feel, my best conversations are always when I talk to people and I say, you know what, this is what I experienced, and they're like, wow, how'd you come through that? Well, let me tell you, this is what happened. Not perfectly, but this is what happened and where I'm at today. And people need people they can relate to. So I hope you can relate to me, but I want to leave you this final thought. God loves you. God is so crazy in love with you. And there's I forget the address on it, but in Zephaniah, it says that God is singing over you. How cool is that, right? And God's smiling at you, and he loves you. And I want you to know this. Be blessed, and run with God, and come back to my channel if you get a chance. I love you. God bless you. And he is smiling at you.